Hi, my name is Miles Maroon Jr., and you're watching Eliot Kelly TV. Never lose your passion.
If you don't think something's attainable, you're not going to spend a lot of time thinking about it. Welcome to another dynamic episode of Eliot Kelly TV. Today we have with us Mr. Lamont Astwood. He's the Senior Officer in Investment Fund Regulation at the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. Welcome, Lamont, to Eliot Kelly TV. Good day. Thanks, Eliot. I appreciate you bringing me on the platform. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm glad I'm here to share whatever I know, whatever anybody could pick up from a conversation between us. I'm really grateful to be here, man. Today, we're going to be talking about financial management, personal financial management, and hopefully you can share with our audience, Lamont, some tips that we can be a little bit more accountable to ourselves with our finances. But before we go into that, Lamont, share with us your background and professional story. All right. Well, first of all, I have a bachelor's degree in finance, right? And to be honest, finance was never something like I was passionate about. Like in high school, I did no accounting courses, no commerce, no economics. I just was doing whatever I could have passed. And when I went to college, I was in physics because I took physics in high school. I did horribly. I got like one of the lowest grades in the class. So I tried out an economics class. Out of like 40 students, I came second in the class. So it's like, oh, I kind of good at this, right? So I switched my major over to finance, and from there I've been doing really well. And after I graduated college, I pursued the CFA charter program. The Chartered Financial Analyst program is essentially like the highest esteemed designation in the financial industry. And right now I have one more level to go, and I'll be totally done with that. I was supposed to finish from last year, but COVID had other plans for me. So right now, that's what I've done. And my first full-time job outside of college was at the Securities Commission, more along the lines of investment fund regulation. So whereas I'm not really involved in like the investment advisor aspect of it, it's more so the regulation side. It's almost like being a police officer for the financial markets, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like that. It does. But yeah, that's what it is. And I just had a passion for it. So I just started talking about finance. I just started talking about investing, what's going on in the stock market, what's going on with businesses, because I love like venture capital and private equity funding. I like to look up stuff like that and follow that industry. So right now, a lot of people there are starting to reach out to me in regards to advice and information. So I'm glad I was able to use a gift and, draw attention like that. Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Lamont. The reason we brought you on, we know that Warren Buffett says that the best investment we can make is a personal investment in ourselves. And clearly you've displayed that. Take us deeper into the CFA course and share with us some of the knowledge or the knowledge areas that you passed through. All right. Well, the CFA program, I'm not going to lie to you, is if you take it, it's probably going to be the toughest exam you ever take in your life. Like, they have a saying, CFA stands for Children and Family Abandoned, because there's a little quote say, if you're studying for the CFA program and you have a social life, you're probably going to fail. I wholeheartedly believe that. When I first did it, I was actually still in college. I was doing my last, because I did like a lot of my hard classes. So I only had like electives. So I actually signed up for the program. And before I actually walked in my graduation, I passed level 1. And my college advisor, I was like, I can take a couple of years off before I really pursue the program. He told me, no, do it now while you're young, while you have the energy, you don't have as much responsibility, because as you get older, you only have more stuff to deal with. You have family, you get more kids, you have a job, you have more responsibility, you have a mortgage, like only more stuff that's going to come on your plate. So he was like, while your life is relatively simple, try to knock this out now. And it involves like a lot of studying. Like I'm talking about hours almost every day. My weekends, like between 6 hours a day of just studying, right? And I'm talking about you got to start this like 6 months in advance before this exam. That's how rigorous it is, right? So that's why it's really held in high esteem. And what I did, I passed level 1, I failed level 2. And I took level 2 the next year and passed. So I was really grateful for that. Now for level 3, that's when the burnout starts to come in. It's like, oh man, I just wish I could have been enjoying my life and all that. And I kind of got discouraged. So I failed, then I took a year off. Then I came back, COVID year. And it's like, so basically it's like 2 years off from the exam for me. Well, right now in a couple of months, I have to retake it. I'm really more consistent now, really more focused, because I'm just trying to get it out the way so I could pursue other things and so I could actually make it work for me now. You know, I worked hard enough for it, so I'm gonna make it work for me now. But the pass rate is really low, like is in the like low 50s right now per exam, and the exam only progressively gets harder. So you have to study more, you have to become more efficient at your studying style, and it teaches you a lot of stuff about like the basics of investment, equities, bonds, stuff what you don't hear every day. It really tests you rigorously on, and it have to get to the point where it becomes second nature. So that's why like a lot of concepts is almost second nature for me to talk about it, because I read about it and studied it so many times. It's like it's like a basketball player shooting a basketball. It's natural, you know, after a while. Exactly. So yeah, that's really what the program did for me. So far, once I'm done with it, I'm gonna, like a lot of the younger candidates, they've been reaching out to me, so I just want to guide them through the program and just basically let them know to avoid the hurdles and the mental battles that I've been through. Like little small stuff what I was worrying about, it really didn't matter, and that's what was distracting me from the bigger goal. So right now, that's the journey there. But yeah, it's a really tough program, and only like you know how they say like only like the elite people get it. So it was either that or pursue like a master's degree, and I don't really know if I'm going to pursue a master's degree, so I opted to do the CFA program.
All right. Thank you for sharing that, Lamont, and we are totally inspired by you. One of the reasons that I actually founded this show is that there always seemed to me to be a big gap between myself and those big goals that I had. And I wanted to create a platform where I could have persons like you, Lamont, actually walk and talk us through the failures and the successes of these courses. A lot of persons see the success that they may see when you post, and hopefully I'd like to press that share button when you post your certificate in hand. I want to be one of those persons. But like I say, they see that success and they don't see COVID, or they don't see the other trials that you had, the sacrifices that you make with your family as well. As far as the industry, Lamont, what is the greatest challenge for you right now in the industry?
Well, the greatest challenge, when you talk about like the investment industry itself, especially like for Bahamians, one of the greatest challenges is opportunity. Like in the CFA program, when they teach you about behavioral finance and advising clients, one of the theories they mention is something called bounded rationality. That means somebody makes the best decision with the options or information that they have presented to them. Now, I have family in the United States like who invest in the stock market, right? And when you look at the average Bahamian, they don't know about the stock market because it's not within their scope to invest in that, because like it's like you have to be of a certain level of money and go to a broker. So it's not within their immediate scope to invest in the stock market. So that's something that's off their radar. If you don't think something's attainable, you're not going to spend a lot of time thinking about it. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I think a lot of it is like opportunity. A lot of Bahamians feel as though they don't have a lot of opportunities, and it's like it's really so much I could say about this, because I'm sure you understand it, because you have Bahamians who will have thousands of dollars sitting up, but they don't know where to put it. You know, they'll say like they don't want to keep it in the bank, but they don't know what they invest in. They see a reasonable return, you know, whereas like in the United States and other regions, you have a ton of options you could do with that. So Yeah, that's a really like one of the main hurdles. And a lot of it too is visibility. Like seeing somebody like who looks like you doing something like what you want to do. Like I have a few like people who I look up to down there within the financial industry, and it's like, okay, you don't want to copy someone, but you know, like they set the blueprint for what you want to do, right? And when I look at the US, there's a guy called Robert F. Smith. I don't know if you ever heard about him.
No.
He's the wealthiest African American in the United States, and he's in private equity. So he's within like almost the same industry as me.
Okay.
You see, so I kind of took to him, I kind of study him, what he does, and it's like, that's kind of like where I draw inspiration from. But a lot of it, especially like with, I don't want to get too political, but especially like a lot of Black people, when they don't see a lot of other Black people performing at a certain level, it's almost like they think the same thing we talked about earlier, like it's almost out of reach, it's out of their scope. Yeah. You know, like a lot of young Black boys, they think the only way to be successful is basketball and hip hop. And I'm not knocking that, but that's what they've been fed. And you have to kind of break that mental cycle and say, okay, I can be an engineer. I could be a Black Mark Zuckerberg. I could be a Black Elon Musk. I could be a Jeff Bezos, you know?
Yes.
So that's really like one of the is really like a mental battle, you know? And also just like just another thing what I had to get over is like being okay with putting yourself out there. Because a lot of us, we tend to hide our light, like we tend to hide our gifts because it isn't quote unquote cool or what everyone else is into. So we tend to fall in line with the pack. So one thing I would say is just don't be afraid to put yourself out there, you know? Don't be afraid to look like a quote unquote nerd or whatever. Sometimes that's what you have to do to get ahead.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Lamont. What are 3 ways that entrepreneurs can better manage their finances?
Well, first things first, you want to spend less than you make. I always tell people that's like, you can't be cheap and lazy. Managing finances is a good thing, right? But especially like if you're taking on a lot of clients, it's okay to hire somebody to do something, like put money out to do something. Because when you penny pinch at every corner, it isn't necessarily good. So as far as like managing finances, sometimes when you spend more, you make more. So that's something what a lot of people could do. It's just that you have to spend it wisely. You know, like you have to invest it, not necessarily just spend, but you have to invest. So I would say that's one tip. Just if you're going to spend money, know where to spend the money.
It's a tough question, I know. I mean, some of the other ways that we look at managing finances is managing our time, because in a lot of different ways, our time is much more valuable than our money. And because they have that somewhat symbiotic relationship, we find that when we train our professionals to manage their time, by the byline of that is you actually manage your money as well. So that's another way that you can do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you see are the advantages of becoming a CFA?
All right, one of the advantages is it gives you like a lot of reputation within the industry. So it's similar to like how an accountant will pursue the CPA. It gives you like a lot of leverage. And the way I like to look at it is I looked at all like the investment fund managers, the hedge fund managers, and I looked at their credentials. Most of them have like master's degrees. So it's like, okay, a master's degree might not be, I don't want to say it's not possible for me, but that wasn't something I necessarily wanted to pursue. So it's like, okay, when they don't have the master's degree, they usually have the CFA or they have a lot of experience. And it's like, sometimes you have to get the certifications to get the experience, you know? The CFA, like, it's been said, like, it opens a lot of doors for you. It gives you, like, the credibility, like I said earlier. It just does a lot of stuff. So, and especially, like, when you're coming out of college, it's like, I didn't want to be idle, you know? So, I didn't really have, like, I didn't have, like, a clear thought of what exactly I wanted to do or where I wanted to work. So the CFA kind of gave me like, okay, this is a little guidance for you. There's something for you to focus on, something difficult for you to overcome. Because I believe like the challenges do make the person. Sometimes someone has to go through something tough to become who they are. And I feel as though this program, when I come on, like, I don't like to say if I pass, when I come on the opposite end of this,
Yeah.
like, definitely it's going to propel me. And from there, I could just go full steam ahead with my career.
Great. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to today, Lamont?
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. We can spend a whole hour shouting out people. Definitely my sister, Tanya Astwood. She's the one who actually got me to sign up for the CFA. She was like, okay, Lamont, you need to start to focus on this. And we had a lot of arguments because like, oh, I want to do it, But I understand now she was just trying to help me. And I thought she was just trying to control my life, but it's like, no, she was actually trying to give me good advice at the time, but I just was too young and I don't want to say dumb, but I just couldn't see it back then,
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely she's a huge inspiration in my life, She really helped me become the person who I am today. Definitely my parents, because right now I'm working for them. I'm trying to make sure they good in their life, And all my friends and family, everyone who supports me. I just always have the auntie who shares every post you make, every ad you make, she's sharing it, Yeah, definitely that support system.
Good stuff. And I guess you just mentioned point number 3 there, being surrounded by key players, your power base. So we're talking about things that you can use to manage your money or make more money, to be more efficient with your money. Surrounding yourself by a strong power base is one of those things. There's Jim Rohn, an American businessman, who says that we are the average of the 5 people that we hang around with. So if you hang around 5 broke people, the odds of you being broke are very high.
Yeah, definitely like your influence. Like a lot of us like to think we're immune to it, but like even on social media, like even the people who I choose to follow, the quote unquote celebrities or influencers I choose to follow, like I only follow certain rappers if they like, especially like if they're into business and all that. It's like, okay, I can follow them and see what they do. And it's like you could take aspects from different people. Even though they might not be doing exactly what you want to do, you could just take aspects from them, little tips from them, and you could just apply it to your life, But yeah, that's definitely true. Like who you choose to be around, who you choose to follow has a huge influence on who you are. And people are like, we like to think that we don't care what other people think of us. But the reason why you have a job is because someone thought good enough of you to hire you, Exactly. It matters. It matters. In society, when you're dating someone, whether or not that person, they like you, your personality, it matters if they choose to date you or not. And when you associate with certain people, an easy thing to do when you see someone always hanging out with someone is to associate, like to feel as though, all right, they're just like the group, if that make any sense. It's the easiest shortcut. Like we like to say we don't judge people, but it matters. So yeah, definitely who you choose to be around is who people associate you with.
If you found any value here today with Lamont, go ahead and smash that share button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That's the only way you can actually get a new publishing every time we send out new material. What does the future hold for Lamont?
Success and wealth. I'm speaking it. Definitely I want to leave a legacy behind, like I say, this ain't from me, this is from my grandkids, This is from my kids who I don't even know, who I never even met yet. So yeah, definitely success. I'm speaking it totally into existence.
Great stuff. Our topic today was managing personal finances. We have Lamont Astwood here today. Our thought for today is your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your results. Thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. We had Lamont Astwood here on Eliot Kelly TV. Never lose your passion.